Hello, friends. It is time for another research video, and this one is a fun one. So I just put in a blanket search for miniatures. Could be miniature anything. Tiny little things that sell for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Actually, everything I show you in this video is sold for over $1,000. I have found so many miniatures worth hundreds of dollars because people don't think of like the little tiny things as being valuable, and there are a lot of them that are. So I am super excited to share these with you. If you have parents that collect miniatures or go to estate sales or garage sales, look at the miniatures. I'm going to show you 25 of them that sold for over $1,200 right now. All right, my friends, this is an antique miniature Bible, the Bible in miniature for E. Newberry from 1780. This teeny tiny book sold for $1,287. Incredible sale, and it is tiny. I'm going to show you. These are incredible sales and such teeny tiny. Look at their fingers on them. And you can see here, the Bible in miniature. This is a tiny little book. It is so little. Look at this. Look. Less than 2 inches, this Bible. So this is something that very easily could be overlooked. And definitely this miniature stuff is out there, and an incredible sale. They did have it almost half off, but it still sold for $1,287. Next up is a teeny weeny little egg, and I probably will say that way too many times in this video, so I'll apologize now. This is a antique miniature Dom Nancy France landscape enamel cameo glass vase. It is egg shaped, sold for $1,300. If you do not know the name Dom Nancy, learn it. I would recommend getting these pieces authenticated because they are very heavily faked. So I do want to say that. Take a look at this tiny little vase. There is the Dom Nancy on the bottom. Incredible little piece that sold for $1,300. If you think the small pieces aren't valuable, there are a lot of them that are. So those of you that are limited on space, definitely pay attention to this video. Up next is the cutest little miniature bookcase. The crazy thing is they have 6 more available. They have already sold 3 at $1,499. You can see they have 90 pictures on this. This is a miniature book, the complete Sherlock Holmes with all 60 volumes, $1,500. Here is that little placard on the front, and you can see it does have like a plexiglass sliding. Incredible sale at $1,500. Next up is a stunning antique bronze ormolu French jewelry box, piano shape with miniature. It has a miniature portrait. I see $1,500 sale on this little piano. And here you can see, look at the miniature portrait. And I'm going to show you quite a few miniature portraits sell for well over $1,000. And here you can see the Bazaar, Florida on the bottom of this one. Look at that beautiful portrait. Beautiful miniature piece. There you can see it a little bit closer. It says A Mayo 626. Gorgeous little jewelry box with a miniature photo and a $1,500 sale. Next up, speaking of miniature portraits, this is a set of 1820 Georgian family portrait miniatures. George H. Phillips and brothers and sisters. $1,500 for 4 photos, guys. Almost $400 per photo. I love miniatures. Here you can see signed in reverse of card behind. This is C.H. Phillips. Here you can see the others. This one is Harold. This one is for Harold. It is Great Aunt Elizabeth. It's really cool when they have the writing on the back of them, and an incredible sale on 4 miniatures at $1,500. Next up is a vintage Salesman sample miniature stove, qualified range company. This miniature sold for $1,600. Now, I do want to tell you there are a lot of these miniature stoves that are not worth much. So please research if you are paying up for them. If they are low price, I would pick them all up, but be very, very careful if you're paying up. So we'll take a look here. Here you can see the qualified range company recovery, the oven heat. There's the little oven opens. This one is 20 inches, which is very miniature in comparison to a regular stove. So that word miniature can mean many different things. A miniature stove obviously is much different from that miniature tiny 2-inch Bible. But this one seems to be in excellent, excellent condition, and an incredible, incredible sale at $1,600. Next up, I have actually sold one of these. This is a Vitra, not this exact one similar. This is a Vitra Design Museum Miniature Collection, How High the Moon with Box. The one that I sold was also a Vitra Design Museum, and I sold a black reclining chair for $700. So mine did not go this high. It really depends, supply and demand, and how rare, but definitely research these. But I have seen, I think 5 or 6 of these now on auction in the last 6 months. So they are out there. And I will tell you, I had to pay $300 for mine. So they do not go cheap, but they are there. So $1,700 sale. This one's really, really neat. Really cool piece. And I will tell you, after having one similar, you know, these are very, very high quality and really, really neat pieces to find. Next up is an antique Russian Empire 84 silver enamel diamond miniature Kovsh vodka cup. This little cup sold for $1,950. Tiny cup. This tiny stuff is getting more and more expensive. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Those look like garnets there, if I had to guess. Here you can see, I think that is written in Russian, so I do not understand that. But there is that 84 silver marking with EK, and an incredible, incredible sale at almost $2,000. Next up, this one was an auction, and it only got one bid, but they started it at $1,999. So I say this every time there's an auction. You need to start it at the lowest you're willing to take, because like this, you might only get one bid. And if they had started this at $200 and they wanted $2,000, they would have only gotten $200 for this. Instead, they got $2,000. So one bid. Beautiful miniature here. Look at the detail on this one. There is the stamp on the bottom. It does say signed Herbelian French. Really, really gorgeous little miniature piece, and amazing, amazing sale. This is a dollhouse miniature, and it does have a little marble top. Super cute, and a $1,999 sale. Next up is an antique Georgian tiny miniature eye portrait brooch with gold pearls. They did put unisex. This brooch sold for $2,500. Absolutely incredible. Wait till you see how tiny this thing is. Look at this. It is about 1/2 of an inch, maybe 3/4. Very, very small. There is the back of it. And look at that in the hand. Absolutely crazy, crazy miniature, and a $2,500 sale. Next up, and there were a ton of these, and I am going to show you another one of these. Watch for Wee Forest Folk. So this is a Wee Forest Folk M302 Christmas Gathering. This tiny miniature sold for $2,500. It does say it comes in a gift box for gifting and storage. Here is another photo of it. They just have the two, so no photo of the bottom on this one. Hopefully on the one you'll see in a little bit, we'll be able to get a bottom. But remember how this looks, and remember Wee Forest Folk, because this tiny thing sold for $2,500. Next, an Alois Rockstool Countess Sophia Vasilevna Apraxina important miniature. This miniature photo sold for $2,750. Now, they did originally have it at $4,305. This was 36% off. Tiny, tiny portrait, $2,750. Here you can see this one. It says Paris 1944. It has all of the information there. It almost looked like this is a stamp, like it was mailed, which is really interesting. Here is the catalog listing of this from the auctioneer, showing the birth date is 1831. She died in 1880. And they have information about her father, which is pretty cool, as well as her mother. This is neat. So this is them. There's her husband. Tons of information. Her son. So the provenance on this piece is absolutely incredible. And the seller is providing all of that with this listing. So incredible, incredible sale on a miniature at $2,750. Next up is a lot of 2 antique Indian framed miniature paintings of royalty. They do not name the royalty. These 2 miniatures sold for $2,880. So they had it 20% off. They were originally $3,600. Here you can see them. Beautiful, beautiful pieces. I don't see them with a ruler. Reading, the one on the right is 5 inches and the one on the left is 2 inches. So these are very, very small, and an incredible, incredible sale, just shy of $3,000. Next up is an antique Indian Mughal Persian Islamic art miniature painting. Folio Shah. It does say Grail. This one sold for $3,000. It does say good condition for age, believed to be from 1700s or early 1800s. And here you can see more photographs of this one, and an incredible, incredible sale at $3,000. Next up is a Bo Randall. It does say he made knives in Orlando, Florida. Miniature dealer knife encased in lucite. So you cannot even use this knife. And it still sold for $3,250. This was an auction. It was a 7-day auction with 2 different bidders. The starting price was $3,000. So it went up by $250. And I did read the description. It said that this maker only made 19 miniature knives. He is a known knife maker. And here you can see it again. This cannot be used. You are not getting it out of the lucite. There it shows it is encased, and it still sold for $3,250. If you see stuff that looks different, look it up and do your research. Next up is an old Westbury Hall by Lawbre Miniature Dollhouse. This has lighting and fireplaces, and this dollhouse sold for $3,395. It was local pickup only from Woodbridge, California, but absolutely incredible. This is a beautiful, beautiful dollhouse. Look at this. Now, This itself is not miniature, but it does have very many miniatures inside. Beautiful lamp there and table. I never had a dollhouse as a kid, but I think if I did, I would, oh, this is so beautiful. Look at the fireplace and the curtains, and incredible, incredible sale at $33.95. If you see dollhouses and they are very well made, I would definitely give them a second look and maybe try using Google Lens to see if similar ones have sold high to it. Next up, a name I know very well, and that is Hobe. This is a rare double pink blue glass jewels signed Hobe brooch with miniature paintings. The paintings are important here. So this one had 5 different bidders. It was a 7-day auction. It was started at $1,400. It went up by $2,000 to $3,400. And here you can see, I love Hobe. And a lot of like this twist and turn has been in very, very many of the Hobe pieces I have found. So that's definitely something to watch for. And beautiful, beautiful rhinestones on this as well. The work is very, very well done on Hobe pieces that I have had. And here you can see the back of this. It is very, very clearly signed Hobe, so you would be able to identify it. There is that Hobe up close. There are some unmarked Hobe, though, so I do want to say that. I've sold unmarked Hobe, and here you can see this with the tape measure, and it's about 5 inches. So for a brooch, it is big, but the paintings in it are miniature paintings, and that again, I think just elevated this brooch by that much more, and an excellent sale. Again, went up $2,000 from $1,400 all the way to $3,400. Next up is more miniature books. This is a dollhouse miniature book, another Sherlock Holmes set. 29 books by Barbara Rahab. It does say it is rare. And these books sold for $3,399. Look at this. 1-inch Sherlock Holmes books. Guys, pay attention to the little stuff. And I mean that in more than one possible way. Absolutely incredible. These are 1-inch books. Teeny tiny. It does say limited edition. And set of 29. Sold for $3,399. These 1-inch books sold for over $100 a piece. Next up is another wee forest folk. This single little mouse here, Johnny Apple Bunny. Maybe he's a bunny. I don't know. Sold for $3,500. So this little bunny mouse sold on a 7-day auction. There were only 2 different bidders, and it was started at $485 and went to $3,538. $3,000 increase with only 2 bidders. That is all you need. But this is super rare and retired, and they really want it. You know, it happens. So let's take a look at this one, and we'll see the bottom of this. There is the little Wee Forest Folk sticker, and it looks like it is signed as well. And insane sale on this little piece at $35.38. Next up is an antique French miniature clock, gilded, patinated bronze marble, 19th century. It does say it's in perfect condition, and it sold for $3,800. Here you can see it does come off of that marble. Beautiful gold gilt on this. I do not see any flaws here. You can see, let's see. It looks like Ranhays there on it. And an incredible sale. This one did ship out of France and sold for $3,800. Next up is a pair of 50s to 60s Oliver Lawson duck house miniature duck decoys. These 2 sold for $5,000. for 2 miniature duck decoys. If you do not know, duck decoys can be very big money. You can see here it does fit in the seller's hand, and it says wood duck male. It does have the duck house sticker on it. These look to be in very, very good condition, beautifully hand painted. And again, here you can see the bottom with the duck house sticker. So you would be able to research that pretty easily if you saw these. It looks like this beak here is cracked and has been repaired. So there are some flaws on these. They are 7 inches. Your regular duck decoys, I believe, are around 12 to 14 inches. And this was an incredible sale at $5,000. Next up is an antique miniature painting by Paul Mock from 1924. It was a Russian artist, and this one sold for $5,000. So this painting is 6 inches. I did look that up. The frame is actually 14 inches. Beautiful, beautiful painting here. And again, that miniature term is relative to what the full-size item would be. Here you can see the framing sticker there on it. And this one is not signed that I see, and still sold for $5,000. The last piece is actually not a miniature itself, but it has a painted enamel miniature portrait, and that's why it came up. So this is a silver communion chalice with a painted enamel miniature. Watch for stuff with those painted miniature pictures in them, regardless of the size of the item, because that has come up several times in this video. And this is our top selling one. So $9,500 sale here. You can see that this one was signed from 1865. Beautiful, beautiful piece. There is the marking on this one. And again, what brought it up in my search was this miniature painted enamel picture, and it is an Austria picture. Overall, though, the chalice is not miniature, but I really want you guys to keep an eye out for those miniature painted portraits. All right, that was everything. I hope you enjoyed. If you have a small space, this kind of stuff is perfect. This and jewelry. Perfect stuff to sell if you have limited storage space. And also at estate sales, a lot of times those miniatures are overlooked. I found like miniature little dogs worth like $150, $200. So definitely check out the miniatures. Use Google Lens. If they're cheap and look very well made, I would pick them up. I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate you watching. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Let me know what caught you by surprise. And if you sold miniature things that weren't listed here, share it with everybody down in the comments. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I will see you on the next one.